Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of One Album Wonders. This is the show where we take a look at those maybe rare or well-known bands who came on the scene, released one album, either to no attention at all, lots of fanfare, and then bloop, they were gone. Okay, as we've seen over the last bunch of episodes, quite a lot of these. Some you may have never heard before, some pretty well known, right? Lots of super groups, little underground bands, all sorts of stuff, metal, hard rock, prog. I mean, we've seen so many different ones. Today's going to be no exception. So I got a little bit of an extended one for you today. I have a little more than 10 here, and then I got to go kind of digging through the archives to see what else I can find for future episodes. So let's get started here today with our first pick, which is from 1970 from Canada, from the Ontario area. We're talking about Warpig, self-titled. Okay, these guys were kind of like a hard rock, proto-metal, heavy prog band. They toured with a lot of the acts of the early 70s scene, especially up in Canada. They opened for basically every big band that came through Ontario. And this was kind of like lost in the vaults for many, many years. Originally came out in 1970 on a tiny label, re-released a couple of years later, but then finally giving the CD treatment, a nice CD treatment, I might add, on Relapse Records back in 2006. So definitely something cool to check out if you like the kind of heavier, early 70s hard rock and proto-metal. It's got some touches of prog on it too, which is pretty cool. All right, next up we're going to go over to England, 1973, for a band called Necromandis, Orexis of Death. Okay, this reissue from Rise Above Relics also has some live stuff on there. This band was basically discovered by none other than Tony Iommi of Black Sabbath. Okay, it's kind of like an early example of doom, quite good, good, beefy hard rock with some doom elements to it. Apparently, these guys also reformed like 3 or 4 years ago with all new members, and were either working on a new studio release. I don't even know if it ever got put out, but band is looking to do something again. So, but as far as I know, this is the only thing that's ever been officially released from them. All right, next up we're going to go to Germany, 1972, Blackwater Park, Dirt Box. Yes, indeed, the name of the band. Actually, it's pretty crazy, awful album cover there, but Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth, big fan of these guys. In fact, he named the Blackwater Park album after these guys. Really cool band, heavy prog and hard rock, like I said, from Germany. If you like that first Lucifer's Friend album, that really heavy, riffy, bluesy hard rock, that's kind of what you get here. A lot of great guitar riffs and guitar playing on this album. This is a super album. I only just got this maybe a year ago, and I'm amazed at how this had avoided me for so many years. Great stuff. Blackwater Park, Dirt Box, 1972. All right, how about 1971? Weed, self-titled. Another one of the worst album covers of all time. So this is a little side project of Ken Hensley, all right, pre-Uriah Heep. He basically went over to Germany and hooked up with a bunch of German musicians. They called themselves Weed. They released this one album and then never heard from them again. Really good kind of heavy organ, heavy guitar, bluesy, psyche, hard rock, okay? Not unlike The Gods, Head Machine, Toe Fat, Lucifer's Friend, very similar. If you totally dig like Ken Hensley and all the million things that he's done over the years, you absolutely have to get this one if you can find it. It's quite good. All right, next up we're going to go to England. All right, 1976, Automatic Fine Tuning. The album's called AFT, which is short for Automatic Fine Tuning. Very cool band. So this is, like I said, 1976. Mostly instrumental. They got 2 guitar players, bass and drums. It's kind of like a mix of progressive rock, hard rock, and a little bit of fusion, but kind of not any of those, if that makes any sense. Fantastic dueling twin guitars and some really serious guitar solos on here that kind of predate the whole kind of like shreddy neoclassical thing, but like way early. So think of like even kind of like, right around the time where Uli John Roth is kind of doing similar things. Very cool album. Really tasty melodies. Very classy album. Rocks pretty hard too. So definitely good. All right, so we're going to stay in Great Britain here for 1970s Ardvark, self-titled. Kind of a cool logo there. There's the guys in the band. All right, so this interesting because no guitars in this band. Okay, this is basically heavy prog with a guy named Steve Milliner who's playing Hammond organ, dominates all of the arrangements on here. I always kind of like the little cool little figures on there. Really good. I guess kind of like along the same lines of like Quatermass, right? Really kind of heavy prog, but it's heavy from the Hammond organ. Really, really good stuff. Definitely early proto-prog right there. Dig that. All right, let's go to 1978. Axis, It's a Circus World. So basically this is a power trio. You've got Danny Johnson on guitars and vocals, Vinny Appice on drums and background vocals, fresh from the Derringer Band, and you got a guy named Jay Davis on bass guitar and vocals. Really good, crunchy, hard rock, power trio hard rock from the U.S. This is quite good. Quite good. Late 70s, just good old-fashioned hard rock. And apparently this is the album that got Vinny noticed by Ronnie James Dio and Tony and Geezer and Black Sabbath when they were looking for a replacement for Bill Ward. All right, we're going to stay in the U.S. here. Going to go down to Texas, Dallas, Texas for Black Horse, 1979. Really good Southern hard rock. Okay, kind of along the lines of ZZ Top and Point Blank, also from Texas, but also a little bit of Blackfoot, right? Just power trio here. Just good, beefy guitars, lead and slides, gritty vocals. Really, really fine album. One and done. You got Gary James, John Teague, and Paul Anthony Middleton. That's the three guys in the band. Solid album. Let's see. What else we got here? Back to Britain, 1971. Fields, self-titled. Cool prog band formed by drummer Andrew McCulloch, okay, who's fresh out of King Crimson, appeared on the Lizards album. You also got keyboard player Graham Field, founding member of Rare Bird, so he's fresh out of Rare Bird. You got a guy named Alan Barry on bass and vocals, so it's kind of like, power trio prog. Really good album. Very keyboard dominated. Okay, obviously there's no guitars on here, but really strong stuff. This is the only album they did. They apparently had recorded material for a second album, which was shelved by their record label, and I think some of that stuff might have resurfaced later on. I've never heard it, but Mr. McCulloch went on to join Greenslade shortly thereafter this imploded. Mr. Field went back to Rare Bird, and Barry went on to form the band King Harry. Like I said, really strong keyboard-led prog. Solid. All right, going to come back to the States. Massachusetts, 1970s, Euclid by Heavy Equipment. Four-piece band. Good, late 60s, early 70s, kind of heavy psychedelic rock. Okay, pretty wild album. A lot of killer riffs on this album. Great vocals, scorching dual lead guitars, kind of early Grand Funk Railroady is kind of what I get from this. A lot of fun, very raucous, upbeat, hard rocking album. Here we go, back to Great Britain again, 1970. We got a lot of early 70s stuff here. Czar, C-Z-A-R, self-titled. All right, kind of a mix of early prog with bluesy hard rock, lots of organ, lots of mellotron. You got Celeste and harpsichord, very lot of keyboards on here. Good biting guitar work. I think if you dig like early Procol Harum, early Pink Floyd, this will kind of float your boat. Kind of a strange album cover, but hey, whatever. Then we got one from 1972, Charlie, C-H-A-R-L-E-E, self-titled, featuring Walter Rossi on guitars. This is for all you folks who love kind of like early 70s power trio bluesy hard rock, psychedelic hard rock, kind of along the lines of like Jimi Hendrix, Robin Trower, Frank Marino, Leslie West, that sort of thing. Mr. Rossi is an exceptional guitar player. Kind of like that album cover too. Too bad we didn't hear more from this outfit. Would have loved that. And my last for the day is going to be from 1970-71. It's a band called Bullet, The Entrance to Hell. You may be saying, hey, I kind of recognize a couple of those guys. Well, that's right. So you've got Post-Atomic Rooster, John Ducan on guitars and Paul Hammond on drums, and then fresh out of Quatermass is John Gustafson on bass. So they put this band Bullet together, recorded a whole bunch of stuff, were set to release the album, but then there was a legal issue with the band. There's another band that had the same name, so they had to change the name of the band. They decided to scrap all of the recordings. They reformed under the name Hard Stuff, put out 2 albums, redid some of the songs that were originally on this particular album here. But then our friends at Angel Air Records, many, many years later, kind of found the long-lost Bullet tracks, released it all on one CD. You got like 17 tracks on here. Pretty cool stuff. These are all the original recordings, all sorts of stuff on here. Good. Think of, Death Walks Behind You, Atomic Rooster without the organ. All right, all guitars. Just good, heavy, hard rock, kind of evil sounding, kind of doomy. That's what you get on here. I'd arguably say that this Bullet stuff is even better than the Hard Stuff recordings. I think the first Hard Stuff album is pretty good. Second one's okay, but I think that the better stuff was actually right here. So Bullet, The Entrance to Hell. So there you have it. 13, lucky 13. Baker's Dozen recommendations for you today. One album wonders. Go check them all out. Many of these are very, very cool. I know a lot of these are kind of older stuff, but if you're interested in discovering stuff from the underground, stuff from the vaults, or things that, bands that just kind of disappeared really quickly from the 70s, you got some exceptional ones there. So this is on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So coming up, what do we got coming up this weekend? So we've got tomorrow, we got Butch Jones back on the show tomorrow for a couple episodes. We're going to do favorite guitar solos of Mr. Edward Van Halen. Okay, and no, we're not just jumping on the Eddie Has Passed bandwagon. We've actually been planning this long before Eddie passed away. So we're going to get to that this weekend. And also, Butch and I are going to be doing our favorite hard rock and metal album openers. So those first songs on an album that completely kicked your ass and got you ready for the entire album that was to follow. So that's coming up tomorrow as well. Rich Catino's coming back on the show over the next few days. We're going to do another Monsters Den episode. Martin Popoff and I were going to get together to do an album ranking of Pantera today, but we've had to put that off till Monday. So that'll be happening first thing Monday morning. And then all sorts of stuff. We got the Monday Night Square, the Hudson Valley Squares coming up on Monday night. Basically, the topic of Monday will be albums from bands you love that you've kind of always ignored. So that kind of, you love this band, but there's like one album in their catalog that for whatever reason you just never really paid much attention to, never really listened to that much, didn't really kind of, strike you all that much, but you've kind of ignored it for so many years. So that's coming up on Monday, and then all sorts of stuff happening during the week. We've got more album rankings, and gonna review probably later today. You'll get a review of the new Mastodon CD, okay, which is called Medium Rarities. That's coming up. Also this weekend, I'll be reviewing the new Enslaved album, Utgard. Hopefully the new Neil Morse CD, which is called Sola Gratia. I've also got the new Heathen to review for you, Empire of the Blind. So all sorts of great stuff happening. You don't want to miss any of it. So stay tuned. We'll see you real soon. Oh, by the way, if you like what you see here, please click on the Ko-Fi link below in the album description and go over there and buy us a tea, or I don't drink coffee, but you could buy me a tea, a pint of beer, a CD, 8-track, whatever it is you like. Every little bit helps here. We also got the link to our merch page where you can go check out our selection of t-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, stickers, all that good stuff. And don't forget to go to our website. We've got about 23,000 reviews of all sorts of stuff from the last 20 years, all right? So, with stuff we've reviewed for the last 20 years, some of the stuff predates that, obviously. But so check it all out, all right? We'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.